Hi, welcome to another episode of Talk to Rami. I'm sitting here with a great friend and a special guest. He's not only a trainer, creator, storyteller, but he's always been behind the camera. Now, today, I'm putting him front of the camera. His name is Mr. Mark Wonderland. Thank you so much, Mark, for coming, and I really appreciate your time. Before I start asking you all these questions, I want to ask you who you are, where you came from, and how you end up doing what you do.
Okay. Well, I grew up outside of Chicago in the suburbs, and if you've heard me talk for more than 10 minutes, you'll probably notice that. I'll say a couple Midwestern words or Chicago words every now and then. But I got into film actually. I started working for a company, and I worked in the marketing department, and I did everything under the sun that you could imagine for marketing, from video to photography to SEO stuff, websites, print advertising, you name it, I had some exposure with it. And prior to that, I had experience in sales and marketing. And as I wanted to kind of venture off on my own, I looked at all the different things that I had skill set on. I thought, well, could I do photography full time? And I thought about that and I said, well, anyone with an iPhone and an Instagram account thinks they're a professional photographer. And I just thought that would be really, really difficult. Then I said, what about web stuff? I've done some SEO, I've done some design work, maybe I could get into that. Well, if you go on the internet, you can search for fantastic templates for $60. And then I said, what about video? You know, video is kind of the trend of where the market is moving, and it's just an incredible way that I can use my skills and talents from a design perspective. I can be creative, I can tell exciting stories, and I can put all these different elements together, from audio to visuals to a story to music and interviews, and tie that into something that's compelling, that's going to resonate with viewers. And I just saw it as where the market was moving, and also something where I could use all my skill sets and talents and utilize it in a way that I could live a life that I really enjoy what I do and create some great stuff that's going to help businesses grow and thrive in their niche.
You know, I had a privilege to work with you on one of your projects, and I saw you how you work, and you are famous for telling the stories in the eyes of the camera. And why you think that's so important to tell the story and not just set up the tripod and the camera and start shooting?
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, when I got into video, you know, I looked at that even at a granular level. You know, I looked at event videos, wedding videos, and business videos. And I felt that there was a huge need in the market. There was a huge need in the market for a stylized business video that did tell a story about the company, more about why they did what they did rather than so much of the what. Now, there is a big component of what when it comes to the business, what we do, what makes us different, what's our USP, but also it's the why, and that's what draws people in. It makes a deeper human connection. It humanizes the business, and it really can help, you know, explain their story, who they are, what they do, and what makes them different. And for me, when I approached that, when I got into business videos, that was my primary goal, of making a stylized business video that does tell a story in a compelling way.
Have you ever had a situation or scenario that you're trying to tell the story for the people that really they do what they do, but they're not getting it, and it's hard to really sometimes to get those whys out of the people and bring it to reality? How you did that?
Yeah, absolutely. There's certainly some challenges when it comes to various clients. A lot of times they want to say everything under the sun what they do. Well, we do this, we do this, we do this, we do this, and don't forget we do this, we do this. And the way that I've developed, you know, my style and approach is really focusing on, you know, two kind of primary things that the company does as far as the what aspect of it. And I have a systematic format in the way that I approach the way that I create the videos myself, and also the way that I, you know, train others on how to create the video. You know, focus on this element, focus on this element, reinforce it with a testimonial, and have a very structured way of doing it. So it creates a balance of educating the customer on what they do, satisfying the customer's needs as far as them wanting to explain it, but then also trying to connect with the target audience on a deeper level through those interviews of the why, and through testimonials from their customers explaining their positive experience that they've had with the brand.
Okay, and Tell me, I know you have two different companies, and one of them is the handcrafted. And can you tell me a little bit about the handcrafted?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've been creating business videos for several years, and I've had a lot of other filmmakers tell me, how do you do that? Or what was your approach to get that? Or how did you get that shot? And the stuff that you do is really neat. Can you train my staff? And I started doing that for a little bit, and then I said, you know what if I were able to create a product where I could train other filmmakers? You know, the premise of me getting into video in the first place is because...
Why you want to do that? Because
Why-
you're creating a competition. That's the other companies they're thinking. Why I have to train other people for the tricks that I know and teach them what to do? And basically you're creating a competition for yourself. Why you do that?
Well, I mean, for me personally, I have a very abundant mindset.
I know you have a big heart.
Well, thank you. But I have an abundant mindset, which is like I could film every day for the rest of my life, and I would never be able to even scratch the surface for the potential of the amount of business that is out there for just the sector of business videos. And I don't really want to film every day. It's tiring, it's exhausting to do that day in and day out, be filming and filming and filming and filming and editing and editing. I love it, I enjoy it, but 2 to 3 videos, 4 videos a month is, I'm very happy to do that, but anything more than that I couldn't. And I felt that what I could do is I could train others so they can, grow and they could do something that they're equally as passionate about. And it's kind of like the rising tide, lifts all boats. And that was kind of the mentality and the notion of doing that, helping people. I've met some fantastic people along the way. And it just really excites me and energizes me when I get positive feedback from people and they tell me about their story of where they were and how my training has impacted their life in a positive way. So that's kind of how I feel about that.
Yesterday when I was talking to a couple of friends and I told them that I'm going to interview you, I said, is a famous Mark Wonderling? I said, yes. And they had some questions that I'm going to ask you. One was, some companies or small businesses really, they can't afford hiring people like you or other videographers to do what they want to do. And they asked me, can they use their cell phone? Mm-hmm. These days everybody has got a cell phone and some cell phones are really good quality. Is this really feasible or is it even worth it to do that if they don't have a budget and just because they can tell their stories through that mobile device as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that a phone is a great tool and the quality of them is going exponentially really well and the convenience factor of it. And they're also creating some fantastic tools that you can couple with your phone to create great video. But there's also some foundational principles that you need to know when it comes to creating the video. Now, if you're going to do a talking head video and you're just talking and you're just telling something or explaining something or showing someone a process, I think a phone is an excellent tool and I recommend businesses and solopreneurs to have some type of video content strategy for them. However, I highly recommend when it comes to what I call a business promo video, which is who you are, what you do, and what makes you uniquely different, doing that with an iPhone and trying to tell a story with different cuts and angles and interviews and testimonials, it's going to be way more difficult to learn all that stuff and go through that process with the phone than it's going to be worth you saving. Because we have two things, when you're a business owner, it's either going to take you time or if it's going to take you money.
Absolutely.
And sometimes it's both. And when it comes to an overarching business video, you're better off hiring someone like me or someone that I train to do that for you and then using your phone as a tool for other content-based videos. Because the business promo video that kind of lives on your website, that's highly marketed, that 2-minute story about it, it is not something that you could teach someone in 10 minutes to do. It's something that it's an art form, it's a craft that you have to go through the process of and learning and understanding.
Yeah, this is very important for me personally to ask you that because I haven't known you for a while. Why you do what you do? Why you do this? Because you're an entrepreneur like me. And what motivates you? What gets you up in the morning and just be happy and keep going and doing the stuff that you love to do?
Well, one, I love helping other people. I love seeing the impact that I have on their lives from a business standpoint when I help clients personally and seeing their passion that they have for their business grow and the video being a component of that. And I also love hearing about other people that have impacted their life positively, where they're living their dream, filming and creating, and doing that as their passion. Because I've been able to teach them skills and stuff that they didn't know even existed, or they're not asking the right questions. And just for me personally, I love the creation process. I love the creation of building a company, building different products, different training products, building the physical video itself. And that just excites me, and I have a ton of passion about it. And I just enjoy getting up every morning and just cranking on the computer or talking to people individually, or the process that's involved related to video and training.
Have you ever felt?
Have you ever felt? Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
How did you get it back up?
You know, I get back up basically by saying this is the ebb and flow of a business. You know, me sitting here complaining and whining about it isn't going to change anything and move things in the positive direction. Understand that, you know, we all fall, but what we do when we fall is going to make a difference on our lives and the way that we live it and the success of our business and stuff of that nature. So like, just with the training company, you know, there was highs and lows with the company. When I first launched it, it was massively huge. And then I went through a lull. And then I got a big high doing something else. And then I went through a lull. And then I got a bigger high where there's new things I'm trying, new things I'm testing, new products that I'm coming out with. And it's just understanding the needs of my audience and what they really want and what's going to be the most beneficial for them. And then the same thing goes with, you know, when it comes to filming, it's understanding, you know, what's going to be the most ideal for my client, you know, where I have more of a premium video service, but I can do alternative options for them that is going to accommodate them. You know, and I say whether I do a $500 video or a $5,000 video, I'm going to do the best possible job I can for you to get the maximum amount of results that you need.
Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
Well, I see myself really growing the training company extensively and really providing a service that's almost like a business in a box type of format. Like if you're looking to become a professional filmmaker and you want to focus solely on business videos, you have an end-to-end strategy and a toolkit to help you be successful, almost like what you would get from a franchise. And that's going to take some time to build and to market and stuff of that nature, but that's where I'd like to be, where I'm affecting the most amount of people in a positive impact, where they can live their passion through filmmaking, and then I'm positively impacting those businesses that they get to work with because they're able to have a great video on their site, market it in a way that's going to help them grow and thrive in their niche.
Are you still going to be behind the camera as actually creating something as like a other filmmaking, or are you just going to totally quit that?
No, I don't think I'd ever. I don't think I'd ever.
Don't
quit
do
it.
that. We need you.
I don't think I'd be able to. I have a lot of repeat customers and friends that love when I do work or help them with stuff, and it's great because it allows me to be fresh in my field, to continue to experiment and try new things, and you know, sharpen my own personal skill set as I train others, as I try to sharpen their own.
Yeah, where do you see the filmmaking is going with this all technology? Like this is a new app they call it Prescope or something like that, or 360 videos and everything else. Do you think where the whole industry is going?
I think ultimately the industry is moving towards experience and authenticity. So when you come to a Periscope, it's just an iPhone and you're just talking to someone live. It's all about the experience. It's less about the video. It's less about the quality. It's all about authenticity of talking to someone.
Is it a good way to tell the story?
I think it's fantastic. I think it's a fantastic way to tell your story because you're just genuine, you're authentic, and you're just talking. And people are just visually thinking of it. It's all about the engagement and stuff of that nature. Now, with 360 videos and the way that those work, it's all about the experience. It's about trying to immerse someone in the experience where they can feel like they're there. And the way that I tell the story is trying to educate the viewer about the business and the brand and doing it in a way where they can connect with them, where it humanizes the business. And it's just a slightly different approach. So, you know, the market is always going to be changing every single day. You know, there's new camera gear coming out. There's different systems and formulas to make things easier. But ultimately, it's just telling a story. So whether you do it through Periscope, whether you do it through 360 videos, or whether you do it in this business promo style that, you know, I've kind of specialized in, it's all comes down to educating others about what you do, humanizing your business, and trying to increase that speed of trust.
If you can give one advice to a young entrepreneur that who wants to be a filmmaker, in a nutshell, what would you tell them?
You know, I would tell them one of the most important things is don't get too caught up in the gear. One of the things,
Why is that? They all want fancy gear and fancy cameras and the best tripod.
I think the biggest misnomer in my industry, and it really saddens me, is that people have this impression that if I buy a $3,000 camera, I'm going to be an awesome filmmaker. And I always come out with this. I always have this phrase that says, "I can buy a $5,000 pair of golf clubs, but it's not going to make me Tiger Woods." I think there's so much emphasis on the newest gadget, the shiny new object, that's going to just make things so much better and so fantastic. They live in this notion. It's sad. They live in this notion that, like, if I buy this piece of equipment, I'm going to be able to create videos that are so fantastic, my phone is going to ring off the hook. And unfortunately, that's just not the case. You're better off buying an inexpensive DSLR, understanding it fully to the extent, and most importantly, getting out and doing stuff. Because what happens is these guys buy these $3,000 cameras, they have no business, and it's like this. It collects dust. It's sitting here like this. It does nothing. Better off taking a phone, taking an inexpensive DSLR, creating work, and staying busy, and constantly refining your craft. Whether it's through my training product where I teach you stuff step by step, going out there and getting your hands dirty, doing free work strategically, that is abundantly more effective than buying an expensive camera. I could show you some of my videos where literally I used a $600 DSLR, a $100 lens, and a $300 monopod, all under $1,000 for that set of equipment. You would be blown away the video that I could produce with that.
It's just
absolutely blown away. Practicing your craft, constantly refining, constantly learning, and don't get too caught up in the equipment. Don't get too caught up in the equipment. That's what's so important.
And if somebody is interested to actually, use your services or even handcrafted, where do they have to go?
So for my services where I would film for a business, it's mosaicmediafilms.com. And then
that's one of the companies that you created and founded it.
Yes, that's the company, mosaicmediafilms.com. And the name actually comes from mosaic, which is multiple items coming together for one thing. And that's basically the way that I create the video. It's having the testimonials, the interviews, the visuals, the story, the music, all those elements coming together for one cohesive brand story about the company. That's mosaicmediafilms.com. And then my training side, where I actually train filmmakers on how to create this stylized type of business video, is handcraftedbusinessfilms.com.
That's great. That's great. Thank you so much for watching, and I really appreciate, Mark, for your time. I know how busy you are. If you are interested to learn about my interviews, please go to Talk to Rami. Until next time, have a wonderful day.